It is a highway hazard many of us drive by every day. Action News Investigates has learned Pennsylvania roads have thousands of dangerous guardrails 2 decades after the Fed said they should all be removed. And in some cases, the guardrails are blamed for deaths and serious injuries.
Investigative reporter Paul Van Osdol joins us now. Paul, first can you explain what makes these guardrails so dangerous?
Right. Well, when you hit them, they're supposed to break off and cause minimal damage. That's why they're called breakaway cable terminals. But studies have found they're actually impaling cars, in some cases leading to horrific deaths.
Lauren was a beautiful, happy child. It's so unfair that her life was taken so young.
Lauren Perdue was just 18, a passenger in this car when it struck a guardrail in southern West Virginia in August 2014. The guardrail sliced through the car, killing Lauren and the driver.
I'll always wonder, would she have lived if that guardrail had not been there, if it had not impaled the car?
The guardrail was a breakaway cable terminal, or BCT, like this one on East Pittsburgh-McKeesport Boulevard in North Versailles, this one on the Montfayette Expressway at I-70, and this one on Route 3016 in Raccoon Township, Beaver County. This 1989 federal government video says the BCT was designed
to break away at the first 2 posts and allow the vehicle to accordion the W-beam and pass safely behind it.
But just 5 years later, in 1994, the feds first raised concerns about the safety of the BCT. This 1998 memo from the U.S. Department of Transportation says crash tests involving the BCT resulted in unacceptable passenger compartment intrusion because the rail is too stiff. The DOT memo says existing breakaway cable terminals should now be replaced with safer units. But 2 decades after the feds warned these guardrails are dangerous, Action News Investigates has learned there are still 1,990 of them on state-owned highways. And that doesn't include local roads or the turnpike, where we found this one.
That's just not acceptable.
Dean Sicking is an engineering professor who invented most of the guardrail ends that are used today. In 1998, he was on a committee that urged the feds to get rid of the BCT.
Lots of bad things can happen, like impalement or rollover or sudden dramatic stops of the vehicle, all of which can cause serious injury and fatal crashes.
PennDOT says they have been replacing BCTs whenever they do major road work, as the DOT requires. Should the public be worried that there's so many of these dangerous guardrails still on the roads?
No, I don't think. I mean, it's a random sort of thing. I mean, obviously we want to promote safe driving. For the most part, you know, these things have worked very well.
But Sicking says studies have shown crashes involving BCTs lead to death or serious injury 6.5% of the time. That compares to a rate of less than 1% for other guardrails. The fact that these particular units are multiple degrees more dangerous than other alternatives, isn't that a concern?
We don't identify it as an immediate safety issue.
What are the odds that your son or daughter or wife is going to be one of the 6.5%? That's why you worry about it. Who's going to be the next victim of these things?
In August, James McGregor of Shaler was killed when police say he was speared by a BCT after his car crashed into the guardrail in North Carolina. 2 Georgia men were killed in 2013 when they were impaled by a BCT guardrail in this crash. Another Georgia man was killed last year in this crash involving a BCT. Attorney Mel Hewitt is representing the Georgia victims' families and also the Perdues in West Virginia.
All the DOTs have been told these things are killing people. These things are injuring people. These things need to be off the road. 20 years? I think that's a little long. I think that's time's up.
They had plenty of time to remove those. They had plenty of time to make those roads safe.
Pam Perdue has dedicated her life to making sure the guardrails that killed her daughter are removed from the road.
And if we can affect change and make it safer, and someone else doesn't have to suffer the way we have, then I've done my job.
In the next few weeks, Pam Perdue's attorney expects to file suit against the West Virginia DOT. I made multiple attempts to ask the DOT there for comment, but they did not respond. Now, the Georgia DOT also declined to comment on the BCT cases there. Because of our story, in the wake of our story, PennDOT is reviewing its entire inventory of BCTs, and when they finish doing that, we're going to tell you what they find.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you're like, let's get moving, right?
That's right. That's
Feeling
right.
like
20
that.
years.
All right,
Yeah.
Paul, thank you.
Okay.